obusinge abanyabusinge obusinge aberere barahanga obusinge abarugi nagaruka kandi hati neija na neki barikweta series and history of Bachwezi. We have been giving you clips, we have been giving you little information concerning what Bachwezi are. But today I am here to give you more of detailed information about who are the Bachwezi, such that we can understand more about Bachwezi, their existence, how they started, and where we are heading to as Bachwezi branch. Now, number one, who are the Bachwezi? Most of us ask a question ourselves that who are the Bachwezi? And we do not understand who the Bachwezi are because of colonial setup, because of what happened to our ancestors, because of what happened to Africa during the days of colonialism. So, yes, Obsinje Ronald. So, Bachwezi in our normal term are angels, because it is they are our local languages that represents the word of America in Latin, that represents the word angels in English. But in my local language, Bachwezi are actually the angels. Like any other language would call it Inkurukuru, you know it. Nigerians, you know how you call it angels. Just turn that word angels into your language, you will get to know what the Bachwezi are. So when creation took place in this world, it started with the angels. God created the angels first before anything else, because the angels were his helpers in formation and creation of this world. So Bachwezi existed before human race, and they existed with the law from God, what we would call endagano yensage. So those are the Bachwezi. The Bachwezi existed before human race, and they existed as God's helpers, as angels. So, since they are angels, how did they turn to be what whites call them as moral gods, demigods, and the so fake kind of representation, and they name it? It's because the colonial master did not want you to understand the reality of an African tradition and an African belief. And there he called the Bachwezi the small gods, or Emmanuel, such that you differ from your ancestral spirits, such that you should stop believing in your reality of your tradition as Africans. So when God finished creating man, he gave him a spirit, what we call a soul, or muzimu. No, whites do not want you to call your local names the spirits. When you say Omuzumu, people think you are talking of Satan. But in actual sense, Omuzumu is the soul possessed by any kind of human living on earth, and both dead. So in actual sense, the Muzumu is something special to you that connects you to your spirituality of the clan, and then the clan to your guardian angel, who we call the Bachwezi, and then the Bachwezi to the archangels, who are the great ones like Kazova Kanyamhanga, and the Kahimakazis, who are the Black Madonnas, or the Holy Spirit, who is the who is the overall omnipotent, and who is overall both here on earth and everywhere in any place. So actually, before you continue with the teaching, we should always change this kind of belief that God the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. No, that symbolism is for homosexuality. You can't say God the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Did the Father sleep with the Son to produce the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Spirit slept with the Father to produce the Son? The whites don't want you to mention the name Mama Chigambo, Ninga Nyina Chigambo in Runyankore, or Mother Mary in English, or Mother Wajambo, Mama Wajambo in Rwandese, or Black Madonna, or any mention it. It is God the Father, the Son, and the Mother. When you say God the Father, the Son, and the Mother, then you are okay. Because it's the Father that is the Holy Spirit, who we call God, that represents the Son and the Mother. Even the Bible itself tells us that the Spirit entered Mother Mary to produce Jesus, who they cannot tell you that Jesus was Kazowa Kanyamhanga. Because Jesus' power to come in this world, for Jesus to come to the world, he came to represent the spirit, a soul that was already there, which is Kazowa Kanyamhanga, who existed before human creation. We believe in the Son. We worship the Son. And the whites will never tell you that Sunday is actually the representation of the Kazowa Kanyamhanga. I am talking about the Bachwezi. All those are Bachwezi. Kazowa Kanyamhanga, Mother Mary, because we believe in the moon, the sun, and the Holy Spirit, who is God, who is creation. Do you get me? So how did the Bachwezi come to exist in people? When God created the first man from Tanzania, because we believe even the Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2 verse 10, it tells us the Garden of Eden around the Great Lakes region. History tells us about Tanzania, first creation of human being in Tanzania. So when you follow all that history, what I'm going to tell you is actually right, 100% correct. So when God created man from Tanzania, he sent his Holy Spirit, or the Bachwezi, who possessed the first man, and the first kingdom existed from Tanzania, the kingdom of the whole earth. The whole earth had one kingdom, and human generation started. Because humans started developing different thinkings and different ways of living, we started seeing what we call emiziro. So abantu abamwe groups zagire emiziro, different groups got totems and taboos. And through that, we see ebika, or clans coming in. People having clans basing on what they don't want in daily life. People having clans basing on what they like. So we see emiziro coming in, and after those clans being formed, we see clans choosing their leaders. Now we are under the Trace First Ancient Kingdom. So we see clans being formed in Tanzania under one kingdom that existed in the whole of this earth. And after clans were formed, people started wanting to get wise more than God, the one who created them, and they started kingdoms. So we see the second kingdom appearing in Katebe, Rwanda. And that's how we come to see the kingdoms appearing on the earth. Another one going to Rwenzori, which the Bazungu came and called it Rwenzori, but in actual sense, its real name is Rwenzori. So we see the formation of kingdoms. We see Bunyoro Chitara kingdom also coming in. You know, before we had those kingdoms, ancient kingdoms. This story of the Nahuras and the what is something of after creation and after all those kingdoms. Because we see it as a generation, a second generational appearance of Bachwezi. First they appeared, which you call the Batembuzi. Actually, those Batembuzi were, they also had the spiritual system of Bachwezi. So we come to see human beings being formed and kingdoms appearing and forming. And then we come to the stories of Nahuras, the first king of Bachwezi and the last kings of Bachwezi, the Wamaras and what, and so on. So when those existed, we see human beings who were possessed halfway by the spirit and halfway they are human beings. But in actual sense, they were angels of God. God blessed them to have kingdoms. God blessed them to have kingdoms. And we see the formation of those kingdoms of the Bachwezi. And after those formations, people started making sins. Some books say that the Bachwezi started sleeping with their sisters and Bachwezi started sleeping, doing bad manners. But in actual sense, it is human beings that started doing the so-called sins. It is the invasion caused by the whites that caused us change everything, the way we were believing, the way we were worshiping. And then we started believing in things we did not know, and we chased away our culture and traditions, and then God was not happy with us, for he blessed the whites to do whatever thing they were doing. For he blessed them, because we left our ancestral spiritual timelines thinking they were small gods because of what the white man came preaching to us, what the white man came telling us in favor of their spirituality that they had formed to come and steal Africa. They came with the Bible. Africa remained with the Bible. They went back with the minerals. That was their intention. They never came to bring you a God. They never came to bring you peace, because you had peace already. You had peace. You were developed as an African already before whites were here. We had the best university in Mali. We had the first civilization in Egypt. We had everything. Bible tells us everything was African before whites were here. We see the Solomons, we see the Davids, we see the Egyptian stories, we see everything, Egyptian Book of the Dead. It tells us how Africa existed and was rich and was far away in everything. So it is today that you should know that the Bachwezi are the spirits and the universal spirits, not from Ankole like you people think. Bachwezi are a universal spirit. It appears in Canada, it appears in Israel, it appears in Nigeria, it appears in Ghana, it appears everywhere. Because it is a spirit that is possessed in you, and it is a godly Holy Spirit that is in you. So how did they go? What they call Kugoromoro kind of Nyankore. Because we sinned, because we lost them and we chased them away because of the European colonization. The angels decided to get away from us, and we remained with our clan systems and what they call the genies, and they all possessed us from the European countries. And we see the formation of churches, we see the formation of everything. We see the churches existing because of political interests, and we see currently the formation of born-agains to make sure they bury African real Hoa spirituality. So these are the times that the Bachwezi are back. You want it or not, they are back. And they are coming back through you, the human beings, through you, the Africans. Because the chance is given back to you as Africans. So you should know how to worship them. You should know how to not make mistakes by worshiping them and by understanding what they are. They left, but now they are back. They are back, and you are seeing many countries fighting each other. In this year, you're going to see many deaths in the countries. You're going to see many leaders die in the world. I mean political leaders, because of how we have turned the world to be. a human paradise, not a God paradise. Quote it from me this year, many leaders are going because the bitterness of the system that is back is not bribed. You can never bribe it. So the Bachwezi are back, and they're back in you. So who are those Bachwezi you mentioned? The most important systems of Bachwezi mention about the sun, which represents Kazoba Kanyamhanga or Jesus. Even the pictures of Jesus, you always see the sun surrounding their head. That's the representation of the sun and God. The moon is a representation of women and reproduction. So that's why we have Mother Mary or Mama Washambo or Mama Chigambo as a representation of the moon from the heaven, from God's system. We have the thunder, we have Kiurankuba in our language, name it in your language. That is an angel. We have what these guys have destroyed, the rainbow. We have the Bachwezi, we have the kings of water, Magasha. We have the kings of forests, Irungu. We have everyone is a representation here in Africa, and those are the Bachwezi. So when you are praying, you need to understand the originality of the Bachwezi, and you need to understand where we are heading to for the Chwezi generational cause. So from today, understand that the Bachwezi are a spirit that was sent by God to you humans. So help guide in a better way, in a right way, not in a wrong way. Currently, they are in us. They have made us be able to visualize spiritually and see the future. We predict the future. We see the future of the human beings. We see the future of countries. We see the future of kings and kingdoms. We see the future, and we know where the world is heading to. So it's upon you to go back to your culture and tradition and welcome the reality of God, who is the ruler of this world, who is the creator of this world, Oruhanga, Inkurukuru, to come and give you the best of your life. So the Bachwezi are those ones. The Bachwezi are a spirit. They are a spirit you need. They are a spirit that everyone needs on this earth. So we should know how to pray to them. We should know what they are. And the only way out is to make sure we go back to our culture and traditions. Go to what they call Ndembo. We have very many different churches in this country and Africa at large. But you need to be cautious so that you don't visit the spiritualists who are actually possessed by the clan head spirits, which are actually their spirits, and who are possessed by the ancestral spirits. Sometimes those ones can advise badly. You need to go to places whereby people are possessed by the spiritual medium, that is the generational change, or Abahasarzi, or the heavenly God sent Bachwezi. We are available to guide the world peacefully. We are available to make sure that we are on the right way as the community of Bachwezi. And we should preach unity and peace. We should preach development, because an African without peace, an African without development is like a tree without the roots. Magundi is my name. From your questions, we shall add from there I wanted to give you a brief introduction of who the Bachwezi are, and then when I come back in the second segment, we shall get one by one, and explain about the Bachwezi and even the formats and the formulas on how this world is back into the reality of African culture and tradition. Africa is the only ruling God nation in this world, but because they planted an inferiority complex in your identity, in your thinking, you can't believe that you are the best. You are bigger than what you are. I thank you very much. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. Subscribe to Bachwezi Empire YouTube channel. Search for Bachwezi Empire and you subscribe. You will get more teachings about Bachwezi, and you'll learn more on how you can deal with the Bachwezi using our YouTube channels and more of what you want in this world. I salute you. May God bless you. Obsinje veni mwe nimbakunda mnonga. Follow us on WhatsApp. Use the contacts on our pages. Follow us on WhatsApp. Come live to Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, more countries where we are represented. Visit those contacts and we direct you to our headquarters and our centers where we surely pray, where we are restoring culture and tradition from, and we are fighting for peace and development in the people. Desist from politics, desist from bad behaviors that are destroying our countries, because these are times of peace. These are times when God is choosing his nations about peace, when he's choosing his nations for the best of the future of mankind. We are going to see a lot of wars in Europe. We are going to see a lot of earthquakes in Europe. We are going to see deaths of African leaders. We are going to see very many things taking place in this world this year. I won't mention which leaders, but many of them are going to die. Many of them are going to be incarcerated. They are going to be put in prisons. Many of them are going to get problems as God is cleaning his world, because we are heading for another generational century kind of communal standards of living by the God. We are changing the format. God is changing the format. The Bachwezi have changed the format. If you can't understand, please, we are here for guidance. If you are a leader and things are not going well in your country, we are here for your guidance. We can guide because we know. And we only preach peace. We need peace. You give us peace, we give you peace. You give us war, we give you war. Thank you very much. I remain Magundu, your son of the soil and the heaven of Sinja. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe. Follow us on Bachwezi Empire. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on WhatsApp and many social media handles of Sinja.